Beni Cwiakala, ganhadora do MasterChef Junior e que tem muitas histórias para contar. Vamos ver o que ela tem a nos dizer. Olá pessoal do YouTube, como vai vocês? Eu estou aqui com Beni Cwiakala. Thank you, Beni, for accepting the interview. Beni, everyone knows you because you're the winner of MasterChef Junior Season 6. And tell us a little about to your journey to get into the program.
Well, actually, it's a great time to do this interview because this October it will be a 10-year anniversary of the event. So it happened 10 years ago, which is insane. But I remember that I was 9 years old. I was in third grade, and the way I actually found MasterChef Junior is kind of a funny story because I did a cooking competition at my elementary school, and I didn't actually end up winning. I didn't even end up placing. It was a small competition. I remember I made like toasted bread with pesto and grilled shrimp, and I ended up placing for one reason or another, whatever, right? And I remember that a school counselor, right, like a woman who worked at the school, came up to me after the competition and told my parents, and I don't know how she knew this, but she told my parents that they are holding MasterChef Junior castings downtown in Chicago. And I remember I was like, that's really cool. I'd grown up watching MasterChef Junior. It was one of my favorite shows. My parents taught me and my brother how to cook at a young age. And I remember my parents were like, oh, well, do you want to go and like audition for MasterChef Junior? And they didn't think I was going to win, right? They didn't even think I was going to get on, right? But I was 9 years old and I found myself at the DoubleTree Hilton Hotel in downtown Chicago. And I went through a bunch of interviews and I went through some like cooking things. So I remember cooking on camera for an audition video. I cooked in front of like a bunch of production people. And then sooner or later, after probably maybe about like a couple months, I was in LA. My dad told me, they were like, oh, hey, they want you to come out to LA. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. Because when you're 9 years old, it's like, it's incomprehensible at the time, right? But yeah, and then I found myself in LA, and then the rest is on camera. The rest is history.
And the judges of the season is Gordon Ramsay, Christina Tosi, and Joe Bastianich. Which of the three judges is the more brave, more tallest of the contest?
Yeah. So I mean, one question I always get when people in my life, my friends, members of my family find out about MasterChef Juniors, they're like, oh my God, Gordon Ramsay, like, wasn't he super mean? And I'm like, no, because I mean, the thing is that of course, like, especially like American television, right? I mean, even though he's from, he grew up in England, he's from Scotland. There we go. It's an MasterChef Junior is an American show, right? And so you're always trying to get like the emotions and like make it good TV. And so in the adult shows like MasterChef and Gordon Ramsay show Hell's Kitchen, like he yells at adults because he can, but he never, oh my God, he was never rude or like a terrible person towards the kids. Because a lot of people don't realize he has 5 kids of his own. He actually, I believe he has a younger kid, probably around like maybe 7 years old at this point, but he's a dad. And so on MasterChef Junior, he's super caring. He knows that a lot of these kids are going through a lot, right? I mean, they're on camera and he knows like the pressure of what we're doing, and he makes it so fun for us. And I think that like he did such a great job at like making it so awesome, like such an awesome experience. And Christina Tosi and Joe Bastianich too. It's funny, in the beginning, I think he was very intimidating. I remember that on my first challenge, we did the filet mignon. That was how, I think the first challenge was we made the filet mignon, and that's how we like got onto the show, because there was 48 of us. They had to cut 24. So the girls made a filet mignon. And I remember like I brought up my dish and Joe just stared at me. I was probably like, I don't know, 4'11". I don't know how tall. I was short. He's like this huge guy. I don't know how tall he was either. He's just this huge guy. And I'm like, in there in my overalls looking up at him, and he's just staring at me like as he tries my steak. And it was cooked well, I have to say. I made a good steak, but he's just looking down at me. But thankfully that kind of like intimidated, that like hazing that like hazing tactic, it cooled off in the later episodes, because I think they talked about it. They were like, hey, like, you can't stare down the kids. But seriously, it was such like the judges did such a good job at like creating such a great environment for us. Like I never felt like verbally abused or anything like that. Like anything serious that is common when kids are in this industry, none of that for me. And so it was great.
Here in Brazil, we have a Brazilian Gordon Ramsay. His name is Eric Jacan. He's a judge of MasterChef, and there's MasterChef Junior here in Brazil too. But he is a great person. Everybody like him,
right.
like Gordon Ramsay.
No, Gordon Ramsay, he's a great individual. He was so nice. And even so, he puts on, I mean, especially when, you know, people know him for like being like, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen like the "What are you, an idiot sandwich?" like that thing on Hell's Kitchen. Like it's all a front. He's a great guy. You know what I mean? He's a great guy. He likes to make good TV. And that sometimes can come from yelling at adults on his shows. But yeah, no, I thought he was I think he was like one person that like really like I loved him on the show. Like I think him and I got along very well. I actually a couple of years ago, relatively recently, he opened. I'm from Chicago. He opened a restaurant in the suburbs of Chicago and invited me to go for the grand opening. So that was really cool. I didn't see him, but I did see one of his like right hand men. It's a woman, but he's like partner in crime, Christina Wilson, and she's a chef that opens a lot of his restaurants, and she's so cool. And I got to see her, and Christina said to me, she was like, "Oh, like let's take a selfie to send to Gordon. He wants to know how you're doing." And at this point, this was 3 years ago, so I was about 16, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like it was still a really long time. I was like, "Okay, I'll take a selfie with you to send to Gordon Ramsay." Like that sounds great. But you know, I loved it. He totally made my experience. You know.
And that season, you were finalist alongside with Quani and Avery, and then become the winner. But before making it the finale, you was there any moment when you thought you were going to be eliminated?
I'm trying to think, because you know I have to say it was kind of like getting eliminated was never a thing that I personally thought about. Not because I thought I was really good or anything. It's just because like that aspect of it, the only time you think about it is when you're faced with it. So for example, I remember a project, a personal project I'm working on where I'm writing just this. I love to write. I'm in school right now for journalism, and I'm writing a piece about my experience on MasterChef Junior. And as I was writing this piece, I went to Wikipedia because I was like, wait, I kind of forgot how I did. So I look my season up on Wikipedia, and I look at kind of on Wikipedia, they have this graph, and they show how you did with like different colors and stuff. So red means you were eliminated, yellow means you kind of scraped by in the middle, all that stuff, right? Green means you won the challenge or whatever. And I was looking at this, and I was looking at my record, and throughout the show, I was fairly consistent in my challenges. I only ever won a single individual challenge. I usually didn't win the individual challenges. I was usually just situated in the middle. Also, I was only ever near the bottom once. And I remember when it was the hotel breakfast challenge. Full transparency, I hated that challenge. It was my least favorite challenge. Yep. The one where they put us in a hotel and they were like, cook breakfast. It was my least favorite challenge. It was so stressful. I hated every second of it. That was, I think, the only moment that I cried, like during the challenge. Like it was it was so bad. But that was just because of me. And I remember that our team ended up losing. So again, in adding insult to injury, like it was just bad. And I remember that because of this, sorry, I like take a long time to get to the answer, but I swear my point is coming. Because of that, I had to do a pressure test. And that was the only moment that I was like, oh shit, like I'm at the, or sorry, oh my God, oh shoot, sorry, oh shoot, I'm at the bottom, right? Like I remember being like nervous because of that, because I was so close to it, but because I had never been at the bottom that much, I never really thought about it. But I do remember thinking like, oh, you're not going home today. Like I think we made risotto, like make risotto well and you'll be fine. But I think that I never really, but at the same time, I never really thought about winning or losing. Like I kind of was just taking things day by day. I remember getting to the finale alongside Kwani and Avery, who are both insanely talented and gifted individuals. And I remember it was like, oh, I'm at the finale. Like I never like had a plan. You know what I mean? I was just like, okay, let's get as far as I can go. Let's have fun. But when everything, like that was like the last time in my life I truly lived in the moment, because I was not thinking about the future or the past.
I remember I was watching that show in quarantine in 2020, and
oh yeah,
I saw that. I really nervous too. I imagine you.
yeah, no, oh my God, it's the quarantine. That was crazy because I remember my show aired in 2018, and then like 2 years later, COVID hit. That's a whole transitional period as well, but that's so cool.
Yeah, here in Brazil, passing in Discover Home and Health.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
And then you won. And what was it like to take the MasterChef Junior trophy home?
I remember, so oh my God, I remember standing on that that podium or whatever in the kitchen, right? I remember standing there with Kwani and Avery by my side. And it was funny because my friends, some friends I have now, they were like, Beni, we're gonna watch your finale. I'm like, no, please don't. But we ended up anyway. And I remember like looking at myself and I'm like this, like I'm like I looked at my little self and I'm just like this on camera, like, why did you do that? Like, I don't know. I feel like I look so silly, but it's like I remember winning and I remember being like, whoa, this is insane. But yeah, and then I got the trophy, and what's funny is I actually got the trophy like way later. So I don't know. I think I can probably say this, but what a lot of people don't know is that actually it was filmed over a year before it was released. So my season had been filmed in 2016 and then it was only aired in March of 2018. So
Wow.
yeah. So I got back from filming. I had made all these friends, had this awesome time. I couldn't tell anyone. Like it was funny. They were like, guys, do not tell anyone, you'll get a $1 million fine. That was definitely not true. I just conjured that up in my head.
That's very difficult.
Right. And especially, actually, what's funny is that it wasn't that hard for me. It was hard for my family. Like I kept telling my dad, I was like, Dad, you cannot let my grandfather spill the beans on this event. But to your point, to your question about the trophy, I didn't get my trophy until the show aired.
Oh my gosh.
So I went home and because I don't know. I mean, it's Hollywood, California. These things take time. It wasn't a big deal. It's a plastic trophy that lights up if you push a button on the bottom. And I remember getting my trophy and actually my parents had it engraved, which it was kind of crazy that they didn't engrave it themselves. But that's no big deal. And yeah, I remember I got my trophy and I was like, this is insane. I pushed the button on the bottom, it lit up, and it was in my room. It's always been in my room. And then now I've had it in my room. And then now I've been in I just finished my freshman year of college, right? I'm at University of New York City. I'm currently in Bryant Park right now in Midtown Manhattan. But I was calling my brother the other day and I was like, hey, like show me like your room. Like what has changed in your room? Have you put up some new posters? Whatever. We were just talking about stuff. And he shows me his room and he has a Dungeons and Dragons book on his shelf. And he's like, look, Beni. And he pulls back the book and he's using my trophy as a stand for the book. Like he put
oh my God.
He took my trophy from my room placed it on a shelf and leaned his book against it, you never know it's there. So that's the journey of my trophy, from a prized possession to a less prized possession to now a stand for a 1980s RPG game book. So yeah, but it's still something I really do treasure. I think that when I settle down in New York, when I get my own apartment, I do want to bring it back because it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing, even though it's plastic. It's awesome, you know.
And is there anyone from the show that you still keep in touch with?
To be perfectly honest, not really. In a sense that like we all have each other on Instagram. We all like I keep up with a lot of like their posts, you know, I'd be liking and like commenting, but I think there was a period of maybe like a year and a half where there was like a reunion and we like all hung out. But the thing is that when that age that we were, like all of us were between the ages of 8 and 13. After that, it's like the busiest period of your life. You know what I mean? Like in America, like that age, I mean, I'm sure across the world, you go to junior high and then high school, and then everything gets crazy. And so, and also we were all from different ends of the United States. I think I was the only one. I remember I did have a dinner with some people who lived in Chicago that were on the show. Actually, not only my season, like season 5. I think Evan and some other people that I totally forgot the names. I'm sorry. But yeah, like I think that we really, not physically, but I think that with something like this, like it is a bonding factor, right? Like we're all in different places in our lives, but you know, if I ever saw any of them again, which honestly, I probably will. Who knows? It is, you have that like that bonding thing where we went through this like really special experience together, and like nothing can ever replicate that. And so that just like totally bonds you. You know what I mean?
And nowadays you are making a lot of videos about your daily life and recommendations. Do you think we might see Benny here in Brazil someday?
I've always wanted to go to Brazil. I love to travel. I hope so. I don't know when, I don't know how, but you know what? If I am, I will let you know, because again, I really want to go. I've only been in South America. I've only ever been to Peru and Colombia. I would like to add Brazil to my list. Do some stuff, eat some good food. You guys have great food. That's why I would come. I'd make like, come eat with me in Brazil. But I wouldn't do that annoying influencer voice because I really try not to do that. But I would love to come to Brazil. So that's a bucket list. That is, I hope I can do it.
I think you really like Rio de Janeiro. There's a lot of restaurants here.
Right, yeah, and that what am I thinking? The festival? What, you know what I'm talking about? What's it called? There's like a festival in Rio de Janeiro.
Yes, there's carnival in the
Carnival or Carnival.
Carnival. Yes, here
I would
there's
love
a
to
lot
hit that
of
up.
tourists here in Carnival.
Yeah, no, I would love. I'm always down for new experiences, and Brazil would be awesome. So
Yeah,
hoping I can make that on the list.
There's one more that his name is Festa Junina here in the middle of
Ooh.
the year. That's the other party here we have here in Brazil. And the foods are the most feeding in Festa Junina.
That's very cool. Yeah, no, I hope to make it, because I mean it's an incredible country, so I want to check it out.
And the last question, what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue it in the career in the gastronomy?
In like a culinary career, a cooking career?
Yes.
Well, I want to start off by saying I am not a chef. I love to cook, right? But I grew up in the restaurant industry. My dad's best friend, like practically an uncle to me, had a Italian restaurant in Chicago. So I want to say, like, I kind of grew up in this industry, and like pursuing a culinary career, it's, from what I've seen, you know, I'd honestly say, like, listen to, do you know Anthony Bourdain? Anthony Bourdain. Do you know who Anthony Bourdain is?
I thought I heard that name.
You should look him up. What I would say is, I think that like to get into food, like you have to love it, right? Because like cooking, it's not just like a personal thing. Like cooking is community, right? Like everyone should be a cook, right? Like everyone, I think it's like a joy to learn how to know how to cook. Like I love cooking for myself. I love cooking for my family. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think my advice for how to get into the culinary world would be that great because again, I don't work in a restaurant. So, but I think that like anything, like the way you learn is to just do. So like getting into cooking, it's like, you don't need, in my personal opinion, right? You don't need really like fancy cooking classes. I think like I think it can be beneficial, but like really get out there, eat a bunch of food, right? Know what you like to do, learn how to cut with a knife. I mean, honestly, knife skills are super important. That's technical, that's boring. But I'd say like the way I've truly like grown to love food is just like you try things that you think you've never tried, and like you meet new people because like food comes from the people. And so like if you meet interesting people and you get out there and you ask people like, oh hey, like if you go to a restaurant and like I've met with like chefs and waiters and been like, hey, like why did you make this dish? Why did you do this? And they tell me the story and it's so interesting. So I think that's not I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that's great advice, but really the bottom line is just like get out there, like just explore, and don't do it for show. Like cooking, that's the thing, is that like I think like being on a TV show, it's like it kind of puts like this thought in people's heads that like, oh, like cooking is for show, like you gotta like do the flambe and like make it like super cinematic, but like in reality some of the best cooking I've had is maybe boring. Like I'll be in my kitchen, I got one pan going, I love a good one pan dish, right? Like some of the best cooking doesn't have, it's not always for show, and I think that is something that's super important if looking to get into the industry. But I don't know, that's not I don't know if it's great advice, but I love to eat, so my advice is just eat food, eat a bunch of
Yeah,
food,
eat
right?
is the better thing.
Exactly.
Benny, thank you so much. Nice to meet you a lot. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, absolutely, no, thank you. I had so much fun. Love revisiting my memories a little bit, so thank you so much for reaching out, and I had a great time, and you're wonderful, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Benny.